A very good morning to all of you. Welcome to Super Coaching UPSC by Textbook. This is Venkatesh, your faculty for geography, and today we'll be discussing about a very important topic by name mangroves. So friends, I will ask you a question. What are the things you associate with mangroves? The moment when I say mangroves, for me, the first thing I remember as a kid is the Sundarban tiger, the Royal Bengal tiger walking in the forests of the Sundarbans. That is what the picture I remember. Maybe that was the picture, but with time, with understanding of the urbanization process, with understanding of the threat of cyclones on the coastal parts of India, I have seen the significance of mangroves as a very different thing in terms of conservation. So if you talk about conservation of mangroves, it is very important for our urbanization. In fact, the first thing I would like to see the picture about mangroves is this, the coastal protection. As you can see the picture, isn't it? You all can listen, hope you all are able to follow me, right? Then what more you associate with mangroves? Apart from these things, what more do you usually associate? I associate mangroves with not just with this, but also with this picture, but also with ecosystem services now. So you see my evolution, my journey of subject of geography, it has changed with time. So initially I started with mangroves means Royal Bengal tiger, Sundarbans of West Bengal. That's it. Then the significance with respect to mangrove protection, I remember this picture. Look at this picture, acting as a first line of defense. Mangroves, the first line of defense while you are protecting the land from the storm surges, from the cyclones, from even tsunami to a certain extent, because you are directly not exposed, isn't it? That's a very important thing. So if you see mangroves, you can see aerial view. Look at the mangroves. How does they look like in the aerial view? They look like in this way. So you can see the land. So you can clearly see this is the land, this is the land, this is the water, and I can say these will be the transitions. So though they are located on the land, I can say they are the transitions. So because of that, they are known for unique biodiversity as well. So we have a concept called ecotone in ecology, where imagine this is one ecosystem, this is another ecosystem, this is the area of shared ecosystem between both the ecosystems. So in that way, here biodiversity tends to be higher. So this is the significance of mangroves. So if you see mangroves, they are acting as what? The first line of defense. How? Let me show you a video from YouTube. Visualization is very important sometimes. So if you see this video, you will understand the significance of mangroves. Let me play it. You can see how the water is moving, how the oceanic water is moving, and now how you see the impact of the waves slowly reduces as you come towards the land here. So this is a pictorial representation of the land, right? Okay. So that is the significance which you need to understand. Hope you all have got it. This is the significance of mangroves. So technically, what are mangroves? So how do you define mangroves when you are writing an answer? When you are writing a geographical answer, how do you define mangroves? You define mangroves as what? Salt-tolerant species. Salt-tolerant species found at the land-water transition or ocean-land transition. So water here refers to ocean. So land-ocean transition. So salt-tolerant species. I think you all know Sundari tree, Sundarbans, Sundari, right? So this tree is having one uniqueness. What is that uniqueness is? They are able to grow in the water which is very, very salty. So, salt tolerant species are what we call it as mangroves. In fact, that is what we call it as also halophytes. Halophytes. So, species which are able to survive in the harsh environmental conditions of salt, that is what you call it as halophytes. I have one question for you. When you talk about halophytes or when you talk about any other type of the species, remember the first thing you talk about ecosystem. What is the definition of an ecosystem, my dear friends? Ecosystem is nothing but animals and plants able to survive with respect to their surroundings, isn't it? What is the surrounding here? Every geography varies the surroundings. So, at the transitions of land and water in the tropical part, usually you will find that salt tolerant species like Sundari tree can be grown because they are very much susceptible, very much adaptable towards the salt environment which is surrounding them. See, there is a word, no, adaptation. Please remember, adaptation. It is a trait as well as a process. What is a trait? Trait means what? Trait means your characteristic feature. Process which you evolve over time. Say example, when you talk about something like, trait, it becomes your characteristic feature over a period of time. I will tell you a story. In the Himalayan region, as you go into the higher altitude, there were some tribes where they have more RBC, red blood cells. Why? Why red blood cells? Because in the Himalayan region, as you go with respect to the altitude, you all know that oxygen levels usually come down. So, to compensate that, the bodies of these tribes, which has evolved for thousands of years, had more RBC content, which can provide the hemoglobin, and thereby they can suck out oxygen, whatever the reasons are. So, that is an adaptation. And look at the tribe adaptation over a period of time. That is adaptation. So, every species, be it man, be it the plant, be it an animal, they are known for such adaptations. It starts with the process to adapt with the surroundings, and that becomes their characteristic feature. So, similarly, what is the characteristic feature for mangroves, my dear friends? They are halophytes. They are what? Halophytes. Right. Then keeping this into consideration, let me help you to understand what is the uniqueness. See, one of the uniqueness you can see here is these halophytes are known for aerial roots. In fact, because they are salt tolerant, they are able to survive in the salt. How can they survive? Because they have aerial roots. They do not have roots in the soil. They have roots in the air. That is why they are called as aerial roots. So, this is one of the adaptation of the mangroves. As you can see, because of the salt tolerant, they are adapted to salt tolerant like this, and they have aerial roots which they suck out the air, because if the air roots are more in the salt, it is difficult for them to survive, right. So, because of this, we call this particular roots as pneumatophores. Okay, this is the technical adaptation of mangroves. Okay, I mean the pure ecological point of view, technical in the sense here, ecological point of view. Then moving forward, what is their significance? Why are you learning about this mangroves? Why are you learning about the mangroves? As I am saying there, you see here, they are the first line of defense. Impact with mangroves, you see here, they are able to stop them. Impact without mangroves, the water straight away hits the land, right. So, that is why they are called as what? The first line of defense. For me, this is the first line of defense. Okay, you all might have seen the Bahubali movie, right? Kalakeyas, how their army comes together. The soldiers, these are the soldiers of the nature which are trying to protect us. That's why I am saying the nature's hidden odyssey at the extreme end of an ocean. These are the mangroves. That is why my thumbnail shows that, right? The first line of defense. Then I think this picture has to be there with you. Mangroves are the first line of defense protecting the urban areas. You can say this is the urbanization area. One of the picture which got fascinated with me in the last few years is, if you watch the cricket in India, the cities of Mumbai, the cities of, Chennai, you see that the cities of Mumbai and Chennai, the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai, very popular. Similarly, the stadium in Chennai, very popular. You see the aerial view of the stadiums, they are very near to the ocean. It looks very beautiful while you see in the drone cameras. But one of the things you will understand is they are very, very susceptible to this urbanization process here is very susceptible to the nature. They can have an impact. That was not the case 200 years ago. You used to have mangroves back then. They are able to protect them. Even now, there is talking about in Mumbai, because of the urbanization process, there is so much talk about depletion of mangroves for the growth of the city of Mumbai, which can have disastrous consequences in terms of rainfall, in terms of storm surges and all these things which can have an impact in Mumbai. Similar is the case for Chennai as well. So we need proper planning in terms of urbanization so that the cities of India, the cities of our country are far away from such kind of vulnerabilities. That should be the idea. Moving forward. Now, considering this, of late, the focus from the geographer, from the geography point of view or the UPSC point of view here is, what is the significance of mangroves is usually is the question which is being asked regularly. One of the technique I will tell you, tomorrow if they ask about what is the significance of coral reefs, what is the significance of mangroves, I have a very simple straight line. This picture. If you elaborate this picture, you will get all the points. So this is what you call it as ecosystem services. What are they, my dear friends? Ecosystem services. So what are ecosystem services? What are they? You can divide the ecosystem services into four. Say regulating service. What do you mean by regulating? Regulating service. What do you mean that? For example, can I say they regulate the climate? Definitely yes, because they're regulating the climate, because they're helping in the transition from land to water. That forest availability will have a role in the rainfall, will have a role in the reducing the temperatures, all those kind of things. Regulation of climate. They have a role in the broader water cycle, right? You can say about they are helping in the protection, regulating the natural hazards. This is the main thing for now, natural hazard protection. See, what do they regulate? They regulate the climate, they regulate the natural hazard. Can I say they regulate the water runoff? Can I say they regulate the pollination? Regulate the pollination. Can I say that they regulate pollution? For example, imagine there is a pollution. They'll be able to suck out certain kinds of whatever the unnecessary things are there from the ocean, no? Can they? Yes. So nature's pure pollution controlling agents. That's what regulation is. So these are all pure nature. They are controlling the impact of a natural hazard like a cyclone. The first line of defense I told you, the first line of storm surges, the first line of flooding, the first line of tsunami. I have shown you the pictures. That is the regulating thing. They can also regulate the air quality. Imagine a region with more mangroves, imagine a region with less mangroves, which will reduce the air quality. The quality of the air, when there is no mangroves, when there is no any kind of a plantation, any kind of the plants in any region, you will see that the amount of pollution tends to increase. We all know the air quality index of our city, of our places where we survive, especially in our big cities. So if you have more these centers, they will be acting as centers of improving the air quality. In other words, they are controlling the quality of air, regulating. So this is a keyword. Any kind of an ecosystem, be it coral reefs, you can talk about the same. Be it any ecosystem, what is the purpose of ecosystem? Regulating services. These are the sub points of regulating. Moving forward. Then I would be talking about the next service, say provisioning services. Look at this word, provisioning. By the way, what do they provide? Provisioning means provision, providing of certain kinds of things to us. What do they provide, my dear friends? Do they provide food to us? Definitely yes. Because they are the centers of fishes, they are centers of forest. You have honey. In fact, there is one prominent Indian Forest Service officer who has got providing an opportunity of livelihood to the people here by supplying the food toward different corners. I think because the Sundarbans forest of West Bengal are also known for very unique things like honey, the unique taste of honey in Sundarbans. So what does the forest official has done? He has simply provided an Amazon platform for the local communities of the Sundarbans area, and now they are able to sell the honey out of Sundarban area towards every corner of India via Amazon. Can I say that this is nothing but a provisioning services of food? Can I, through this, you can say that it is a livelihood opportunity? So this is the unique thing about the forest official. Then can I say that they are able to provide the fresh water? Of course, yeah. Mangroves might not provide fresh water directly, but we can say that any ecosystem tends to provide fresh water, because here you have salt. You can ignore this point here. You can ignore, but ecosystem provides. You can see they provide about natural medicine. They are the centers of natural medicines, unique medicines which are available. You can talk about that. They provide shelter towards say an ecosystem animal like Sundarbans, the Royal Bengal tiger. So provision of food, cloth, shelter. Cloth maybe not directly here, but here you can talk about food and shelter. This is the providing services. Then you also have supporting services. They also support certain things. See, regulating is one, supporting is different. What do they support, my dear friend? For example, soil formation. Because they are helping in such kind of things, any ecosystem provides one soil, but here halophytes, salt-tolerant, aerial roots, the soil would be very different. Photosynthesis, definitely yes. We can see plants, they are supporting the photosynthesis. They are helping in the recycling of all the biogeochemical cycles. You can say they are part of the recycling of all the biogeochemical cycles. So you can talk about the biology. You can, that is the here you can talk about the chemical cycles of water, the chemical cycles of carbon dioxide, which they are supporting, right? They are supporting water cycle, which they are supporting. All this is part of the nature. So they are supporting this. This is one ecosystem services. And also cultural. Cultural means what? Man-made. For example, when I talk about Sundarbans, what did I tell you? I tell you that I remember about the Royal Bengal tiger. So if I wanted to see Royal Bengal tiger, I will see this area. This happens to be a tiger reserve as well. For example, the Sundarbans area happens to be a tiger reserve. But one uniqueness about Sundarbans, it is about all. It is a tiger reserve. It is about it is about what do you say? It is also a tiger reserve. It also happens to be UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. It also happens to be a what do you say? Biosphere Reserve, and also UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is part of the natural. So it is all in one. It's a biosphere reserve. It is a World Heritage Site. It is a national park, tiger reserve, and also it is a Ramsar site. So all in one. Everything about the conservation of biodiversity which you talk, they are the centers because you have so much amount of biodiversity here. And this biodiversity is the center of what? Tourism. So when I say about Royal Bengal tiger, I wanted to go and visit that. Tourism. Right? Then that is what the recreation is well. They are the centers of recreation. They are helping in the recreation of the people. They are helping in such things. These are the keywords. So next time remember, any ecosystem, any question on the significance, talk about how do they provide into 4. Regulating, control, regulating services which are controlling the ones, supporting which they support not control. Then you have the cultural which are providing man-made, you say livelihoods here, you can talk about livelihood, you can talk about tourism, recreation, some places even spiritual as well, right? Then similarly you can talk about the provisioning services like food, water, such kind of things. That is what you mean by the significance of mangroves. Keeping this into consideration, what would be the conservation? The next thing, conservation. There are various steps for conservation. What is a mangrove day? We have a mangrove day as well. Which day? Anyone? Can you tell me the day of the mangroves in the comment section? Let me see the comments. Let me see the comments. Okay. The mangroves, they are the centers of protection July 26 happens to be a center of mangrove protection. Now, one of the things I will try to tell you, another theme. Every year, when there happens to be a protection day, on that day, there will be some particular theme. Every year, the mangroves, the organizations which provide these themes and all, they will be focusing on one particular aspect of conservation. One such particular action of conservation this time is the local communities. So how can you train the communities which themselves acting as centers of protecting the ecosystem, how they can live in harmony? That is the focus. So what is the idea of conservation? The idea of conservation, you can talk about multiple things. See, look at the things. First, you need to take steps for protection or conservation. How can you take steps? By, training the local communities, strength of the local communities. Local communities. Another thing you can do is raise awareness, raising awareness, right? When you keep about all these kind of things, that is when you can talk about the multiple things. So there are so many methods of mangrove protection as well. We will talk about all the mangrove protection detailedly in the textbook app, where I am giving a free masterclass for every one of you of protection of the mangroves. How do you protect? What are the steps we need to take for protection as a free thing? Do join in my, do get into the textbook app. Check, refer my name as part of the UPSC Civil Services preparation. And you can see at 6 p.m. today on 20th December, I will be giving a free class of understanding about steps for protection of mangroves. If you are having a difficulty, straight away, no issues, download my Telegram channel. You can scan it here. It is simply nothing but my Telegram channel, Venkatesh Sir's Geographical Voyage. Venkatesh Sir Geographical Voyage. We'll update you the link. It is a free of cost. You can get about the practice of mangrove conservation today in the evening. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, to like this video, and also share it to your friends, because sharing is caring. Thank you.